One of the funniest, most bizarre features from the Ricky Gervais show was Karl Pilkington's Monkey News. Both the XFM radio show and the animated series were filled with wild tales of monkeys doing highly improbable yet hilarious things. Everyone assumed that the stories could not have happened, but weirdly enough, many of the tales were based in fact. In this series of episodes, I will explore the true stories behind Monkey News, starting with the story of Oliver. First, I will introduce Karl's hilarious version of the story, then I will go on to explain the real-life events.
Suede, Animal Nitrate. That's really got a Johnny Marr influence at the end of that guitar, isn't it?
Brilliant.
Still, yeah.
Still brilliant.
XFM, 109, Ricky Gervais, Steve Merchant, Karl Pilkington. Tell us about this monkey, Karl.
You're going to love this one, Steve, right? Yeah, so last week we were talking about how, like, a lad left his family because there was problems at home and that. He went and lived in the wood, he got airy. Right?
Yes.
No!
Leave it there, Rick. We haven't got time to go into
Right,
it.
so...
That's what happened.
And that's what happened. He lived with the monkeys, he went airy.
That's,
anyway,
that's what happened.
Looked into some other stuff about, like, airy kids and all that.
Yeah.
Came across this story about a bloke, right, who worked in a zoo.
Oh, dear.
Right? So...
Trouble's brewing.
Loving his job and that, but it's quite a lonely sort of job because you don't see many people, you're just dealing with animals all the time, right? So anyway, he gets a bit pally with a monkey because it's the closest thing to a human.
Well, that ape is.
Right.
Yeah, but you can't really go that close to apes.
Well,
It's dangerous.
what do you mean? What type was it? Do you
Just
mean
let him tell the story.
Was it a chimpanzee?
I reckon it was a chimp, yeah. Yeah,
Oh,
it was
you
a
don't
chimp.
even know, so
Yeah,
that's
it was a
an
chimp.
ape.
It was a chimp.
Okay.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter, does
So
it?
he
It's the
gets
story.
pally with him.
Right, so he gets pally with
What,
him.
do they go on
and
holiday together?
well, no, I mean, it starts
On the
off
pool together.
just checking each other out and, you know, probably sharing lunch and that together.
Yeah.
Right? Anyway, this goes on for a while. You know, they're getting on well on that. And then after a while, right, the monkey starts sort of imitating him a bit more and sort of walking upright,
Oh, God.
Yeah.
right? So he thinks, oh, that's a bit weird. Anyway, they get on really better and what have you. So he thinks he could live at home with me, this,
Yeah.
because we're getting on a storm,
Yeah.
right? So he takes him home, and before
Is
you
this
know
the
it,
beginning of Beneath the Planet of the Apes? I think it is. I think you've seen this on video.
I'm worried, because he's already imitating him and they're moving in together. I'm thinking it's maybe a bit like single white female. Single white zookeeper.
Oh, brilliant.
right? So
Go on.
anyway, so it's moving in, and it's getting used to sort of the normal human life. It's having a cup of tea in the morning.
Yeah. PG tips.
It finishes the day off with
Oh, dear.
Finishes the day off with what?
He
with
does,
a
he doesn't
little
have to
brandy.
move a piano at one point,
He
does he?
finishes the day off with a little brandy.
Yeah.
What, he pours himself. Is he wearing a smoking jacket?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Carl. You're
Listen,
a maniac,
listen,
mate.
no, this is why it attracted me. It's amazing, right? So he's having his brandy and that, loving his life. Next thing you know, he sort of, I don't know if he loses it or he gets shaved, but the top half of his body is
Becomes
hairless,
hairless.
right? Apart from his head, right? So he's got a nice.
So it's the opposite of the kid.
Well,
Yeah.
This is what
Well,
I'm saying.
that would happen.
Right?
Well, hang on, but so you don't know if
You
he
don't
was
even
shaved
know.
or if
How
it's
did it say? Then the hairless. What?
I'll bring it in for you, the story, and then you
All right,
can
well,
see if
okay,
I've gone
keep
wrong.
going, keep
So
going.
anyway, so
Wow.
so this is going on, and he's having a great life. Then the zookeeper starts getting a bit annoyed because he's having a better life than the zookeeper. The zookeeper's in the zoo.
This is such
So the
rubbish.
zookeeper's still got to do a day's work. The monkey's at home, he's partying,
well,
he's
it
got
gets
his
to a
other
point when he
chipmates
says
round.
there's no point you coming in to the zoo because the whole reason of you being there was because you're being kept there.
Right.
And he didn't want to bring the memories back, so he said, you stay at home. So
You are you're talking such.
Just let him finish.
God, I don't know if I can sit here and listen to this drivel.
Let me. I'm fascinated.
it's
It
nearly
sounds
over anyway,
amazing.
right?
It sounds extraordinary. Carl.
So he's walking up, right? He's having a tea in the morning, finishing the day off with brandy. Gets a bit out of hand. Only tries it on with the zookeeper's wife.
Make him go away, Steve.
How does he do that?
Well, because he's around humans a lot, he becomes a bit of a charmer. And
But what is it that he could do to seduce her? Pick fleas out of her?
he didn't say.
He's
but-
built. He was built.
Yeah, it's well done.
So
Listen.
what about that?
What do you mean? What about it, Carl? It's obviously not true. It's obviously not true.
This wasn't on the internet. This was in a book, so it's not a quick joke and just put it on a website. This is in a book.
I don't understand how.
I love that he becomes a charmer. He's got better taste in brandy. And he,
What was it that he was doing that seduced her?
I don't know. Maybe because he was at home more than the zookeeper was.
But what would he be doing,
Wait,
Carl?
no, the fact that...
He's not going to be talking with her. They're not going to be playing like Trivia Pursuit.
Maybe she liked the silent type. It didn't go into that. It just said that's when the trouble started.
Carl, play a record.
Right.
Is that what Suzanne did when she brought you in?
Talking to the songbirds yesterday.
As it turns out, Oliver was of course not a monkey, but a chimp. He was also a very famous chimp at that, who amazed the scientific world. He was the subject of the 2003 documentary Human-Z, the Human Chimp, in which this information is sourced. Many believed he was a hybrid between humans and chimpanzees. He walked on 2 feet and had a hairless face and head resembling a human. His head was smaller and his jaw was thinner like a human's. Unlike chimps, his ears were also pointed instead of rounded. He was also said to have a different scent, and other chimpanzees would not interact with him. He arrived in America as an infant in 1960, and contrary to what Karl said, he spent his first 16 years in the home of animal trainer Frank Burger and his family. Amazingly, his attitudes were more human-like. He would sit on the couch, watch TV, smoke cigars and do chores. It also seemed that unlike the other chimps that the family trained, Oliver believed he was human. And, just like Karl said, he did try it on with the wife, Janet Burger. When he hit sexual maturity at the age of 16, he began to harass her. He would forcibly try to mount her, and Janet had to get rid of Oliver for her own safety. A lawyer from New York named Michael Miller bought Oliver for $8,000 after seeing him in a magazine in 1976. Frank Burger would remain his handler. The press began to write stories about how the lawyer had bought a Bigfoot-like hybrid creature. Oliver became a semi-celebrity, doing on-stage appearances and TV appearances, including places like Japan. This Japanese show included a number of scientific evaluations. 26 million viewers tuned in to the show, Man or Ape, to find out the truth. He appeared to have more of a human centre of gravity than a chimp, but blood and genetic results were deemed inconclusive. Michael began to come under fire for exploitation and let go of the chimp. He was donated to a wild animal park and was then moved from trainer to trainer after that closed. A man named Vincent Pace, who had previously tried to buy Oliver, went searching for the chimp, who had vanished. He was found in a research lab in Pennsylvania named the Berkshire Institute. He and other chimps were rescued by a sanctuary called Primarily Primates in 1996. Whilst there, DNA experts were given a sample of his blood. It was found that he was 100% chimpanzee, although it was found that he had a small difference in his DNA, which showed he was a very rare subspecies of chimp from Central Africa instead of the common West African chimp. He spent the remainder of his life with Primarily for Primates and befriended a female chimp named Raisin. He died in his sleep in 2012